I hope that you've been enjoying the videos that I've been putting out. I'm trying to keep them really short, and I'm also trying to provide some good nuggets of learning and information for you. And I hope that I have been meeting that goal. And I'd love if anybody has any questions, if anybody has any feedback, now's the time. I mean, any time is the time, but now's the time. I would love to hear from you, and please feel free to unmute yourself. Which of the videos have been your favorite, if you've watched any of them? And go ahead and unmute and speak up. I would love it.
Yeah, Lisa, I like the last one, especially the ending of it with the quote from Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
I really took that into more thinking about it to understand it better. So if you could give some more insight from it, please.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Yeah, and I'll do that, and then I'll take more comments and questions. So one of the biggest things that I learned from Ellie is the importance of trying to be as honest with ourselves as we can, to understand what's real versus what we're just imagining about what we want things to be or what we assume things to be. And the more we can discover what's real, and that's why I think it's so important to become more diligent about surfacing assumptions that we're making, the better we can be at two things. Three things. One is figuring out what the problem is that really needs to be solved. Two is coming up with solutions that can actually solve the problem, and even in ways that we can make the solutions that there's not unintended consequences, right? So sometimes you've heard the medicine is worse than the disease. We want to make sure that we've got solutions that are not creating new diseases in their wake, for example. And the third part is, the more we're able to look at what he said, the inconsistencies between what we see and what we think and what we see, then that also gives us an ability to rapidly learn from what we're doing and course correct as we need to. And that gives us an ability to keep getting better and keep making our lives better. And he was probably the most diligent in doing that, and the most ready to just abandon something he was thinking because he got proven with one instance that his assumption was invalid, or at least invalid for that situation. And the way that he would react to that, if there was ever a moment of disappointment that something that he was doing didn't work out, it was truly a moment, because then he would latch on and he would dive in and say, all right, what can we learn from this? Because we can learn from it and make it even better than what we thought it could be. And to have had 25 years of that example in front of me every day was just huge for me. So yeah, thanks for the question, Georgie. I mean, I get goosebumps when I talk about Ellie, because he really was, not just a special man in terms of the knowledge that he brought out, but also very special for me in terms of the philosophy that he brought, the care that he brought. He was the toughest teacher I ever had. It was like there was no mercy when it came to, making sure that you were really applying yourself. But he was also just super loving. In that same video, I talked about my oldest daughter, Jen, and Ellie and Jen had cancer at the same time. And the relationship that they formed during that period was really special to watch. Okay, that's Georgie. I hope I'm pronouncing your name okay.
Yes, you
did
are.
You have any more questions about that?
Not at the moment. I'll let somebody else ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? What was your favorite video? And do you have any questions or comments?
I think overall it was just reminding me how many assumptions I probably make with every decision or every reaction to something that I have. And, you know, when the examples that you were giving of a teenager wanting to play video games or not, or study, I find myself thinking, well, how does this teenager know that the only way his parents are going to be proud is if he gets good grades, and spanning off from there. So I think it was just a reminder to really meet people where they are and understand everyone's reasoning behind something, and to know there's always another side. And just because your initial reaction is one thing doesn't mean it's the correct way or the right way to think about something.
Thank you. That's bingo. Bingo. Thanks so much. Yeah. And I think that especially in these times of such utter divisiveness that we've got going on in our communities and in our world, that I just think if we could just pause and just start to unwrap some of this stuff and look at it, detach the personal and just start to dig in and really dig in and look for, what are we assuming and how do we check to see whether what we're assuming is valid or not, and not attach it to all this other stuff that's going on. My early career, so just a little, my very early career, that when I first met Ellie Goldratt was when I had quit a job. And I had realized that my personal mission in life is really about bringing people together. And I wanted to create a company that was going to teach different people from different functions of companies about the needs of the other functions so that they could just have better understandings. Because I always thought if they just had better understanding of each other, there wouldn't be all the divisiveness. They could get along, they could accomplish the goals of their respective organizations, and it would all be cool. So that's all still burning inside of me. And and I'm back here in Gen Rata because that's what I want to help folks do. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else? Afton, Liz, Fran, any other, what was your favorite video in this series so far?
I really enjoyed all the videos. I enjoyed the last video as well. And I found myself, I work with data a lot, as you know, and so I find myself trying to leave assumptions behind before I dig into data, because I don't want to change what I'm looking at. And sometimes that's difficult to do. And it's difficult sometimes to know what questions to ask to kind of clear the air and to know what to do going forward. So, yeah.
Good. And especially when we're dealing with data, and I won't say especially, I think all the time, the more we can understand and highlight what's the assumption being made and attach that with whatever reports or analyses that we're doing, that really helps in the analysis and assessment of all that. Okay, so in the chat, I have shared a file with you. And the file is a template. And the template, you've got something that looks like this, what's in my background. I don't know why I can't see the chat on here, but that's okay, I guess. Must be covered up by the timer. You've got something that looks like what's right behind me, the if then because. Just thought I'd give you a little PDF with a little, so if you want to do any practicing with it. Oh, here it is. And right next to it is another version of the same type of logic. And you could do the if then because, and now I'll bring that up here too. I'm starting to get a little fancy with all this background stuff. It can look like that. So instead of the assumption just being in the arrow, once you uncover the assumption, you can even just write it in another box, because that assumption is what makes the cause and effect true, or the cause and effect valid in the situation that you're talking about. On the second page of that, and so that's for you to do whatever you want with it.
Can you send the PDF again? I don't have it in my chat. I don't know if everyone else does too, but
I'm not seeing it either.
I'm not seeing it. Okay, so let me send it to you again. Perfecto. So if you open that up, you see the first page are the two versions of the same model side by side, if then because. The second page is, I don't know, you could think of it as an exercise. You could think of it as a game. I think of it as a way to help us all practice this. And I get to get, and you get to give me a little bit of feedback too, if you decide to. And so what that second page is looking at is, all right, you decided to show up to this today. You decided to come and you had your reason for showing up. Maybe it was, some of you are part of my regular everyday life. Maybe it was just to support me. Maybe there was something you wanted to learn, but you expected something as a result of showing up today. And so I would ask you, what is it that you expected from today? And then ask yourself, well, why did I expect that? And you could put it in the because box. And then you could take it even further. And I'm going to share how I filled it in for me to give you an example. And then I want to give you a moment to do it yourselves. And then as a result of getting whatever the effect was that you were looking for from participating today, then what do you feel as a result of that? Or what did you expect to feel as a result of that? Because I think ultimately all the stuff boils down to how we feel at the end of the day. What we're doing, how it makes us feel. We think that we equate really good things with things that make us feel really good. We equate really yucky things with feelings that are very uncomfortable. So let me share with you what I filled in for myself so you could see an example of this. Can you read that on there? I'll read it to you. So there's Fran putting on her glasses. So let me read it back to you. So that, okay, the first box is the same for all of us. We attend Lisa's live. Said, okay, if I attend Lisa's live, that's what's in the first little box, then I, Lisa, will be sharing some knowledge and learning from others, you guys who are attending. Why? Because I'm assuming people are going to show up and participate. And yay, that assumption was valid. We have several of us in the room. So another way I could read that back is, if I attend the live and people are showing up and participating, then I'll share some knowledge and learn from others who are attending. Now, how would that make me feel? If that happens, if I get to share my knowledge and learn from you guys, then I'll feel grateful and even a bit proud. Right? I accomplished something. Why? Because I have to tell you, I have been teaching people, doing seminars, putting on great big conferences, all kinds of things, leading change in massive organizations for more than 3 decades. I've never done anything like this. I have not been just out on my own, responsible for developing my own products and offerings and marketing and all of these things associated with everything on social media, conducting my own lives. So I've been a bit nervous and anxious about it all. So now that we're here and we get to do all this, yeah, I can sit back a little taller and be proud and be grateful for you for this experience. So that's my little thing. Now I want to give you guys just a minute or two to fill it in for yourselves and think about, why'd you show up today? It'll give you some practice. So just do the little hand raise thing on Zoom when you're done so that I know when everybody's finished. Hand and raise you one. I see Liz. Awesome. Looks like everybody's done. And Georgie's probably still driving. So I hope that you have not been writing and driving at the same time.
I stopped at a red light, so I wrote a little bit.
So I'm interested if anybody wants to just, share what if you participate in this, what were you hoping for?
I guess I'll go first. My intention is to learn TOC. Since you're an expert, that's why I'm here. That's my because. Okay, great. Thanks. And if you got a little bit of that, how would it make you feel? It would make me feel grateful because I'm enhancing my life from it.
Awesome. Thanks. You spoke to my heart. Thank you. And I hope in these 22 minutes, we will have accomplished a little bit of that for you. Liz, anybody else care to share what they've got? And you don't have to. And if you want to email me what you've written, I would really, really super appreciate that. But we'll see if anybody else wants to share what they wrote.
I guess for me, I would like to learn from others and learn from yourself and learn about your experiences, and then also just be in a better place to help in my line of work and with my business.
Good. And the why of that? Or was that was the if then because, right?
Right. And I guess because of that, I feel motivated. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll welcome Steve. We've got 3 minutes to go, Steve, but I'm really glad you're here. And let me know if you're able to pull the template that is in the chat. Anybody else before I close us for the day? Going once, going twice.
Yeah, Giorgio kind of stole some of the main answers. I said I decided to learn more about challenging assumptions because you are an expert. And if then I'd be able to approach some decision making with more direction and a clearer point of view. Because, and this is, I stopped on that second because, but because you're also an expert, because I trust what you have to say.
Thank you. And if you're able to do that by learning how to surface your assumptions better, and make the kind of decisions that you're thinking about, how would you feel?
I think that would be more confident in the direction that I'm choosing to go with those decisions or with those choices for what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we've got 1.5 minutes to go. And in that time, I would like to, say thank you for being here with me today. 2, I would like to, this is where my learning is happening. If you're getting value from the videos, if you got what you were hoping for, even a bit of what you were hoping for from these 22 minutes, please share. Do the whole likey thing on anything you see, Genrata, on any of the videos, and pick your favorite video and share it with other people. I'm doing this to learn, and I'm also doing it because I feel so strongly about how much of a need there is out there for it. So thank you. Yeah, and then you should all be getting an email in about an hour with the link for registering for next week, so you could get the Zoom for next week. I really like this so much better. I love being able to see you and talk with you and hear your voices, and those of you who share your faces, that too.
Lisa, I have a question. Are you going to be posting this? Are you going to be posting this call on LinkedIn?
I am. I'll do some editing to take out, the silent moment when you guys were doing the work, and I'll take out some of the big pauses, but yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely reshare it.
Awesome. Oop, now stop. This timer is ringing at me. Excellent. And Steve, welcome. You have anything to say before we go?
No, just glad I managed to make it in, and I hope it seems to have worked. It seems to have worked for you, so that's the most important. So. Thank
you. Yeah, we had some fun with cause and effect today and surfacing assumptions. So everybody, thank you again. I've enjoyed these 20 minutes. I do feel grateful, and I do feel proud that we were able to pull it off. And I'll see you next week. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.